So we do have a quorum with three, so we could go on and get started until Dolly joins.
Okay. Hopefully Dolly can make it soon. But yeah, since we've got a quorum, let's call this meeting officially to order. That's items, some informational stuff, and introduction of our board members and guests. Robin, if I get you to do a roll call, and I want to get Mr. Mosley there, kind of, because Don's coming to kind of give me a little insight about him, because I'm want to know. But Robin, you're still on mute right now.
I'm sorry, John. You said my name, but you kind of cut in and out on me right there.
Colin, do you want to start the introduction? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I'm Colin Mosley from Harrisburg, Kentucky, Mercer County grad, UK grad, Eagles fan, so happy about the Super Bowl. But I've been here since middle of November and working towards getting my working knowledge all the way up to where it needs to be, so I can be a fully functioning contributor to this fine team at the ad. So far, as you all know, last night you got the reports rather late on the financials, and that was pretty much mostly my fault, and I apologize for the delay. My target going forward is to have it a week ahead of time, so you have everything. But with everything, I've just got behind on it, and yeah, I'm just trying to do a good job and get better at it. I'm committed to this team. I think we got some good leadership over here, and Michael's been a great mentor to me so far. And before I worked here, I was at Dinho Manufacturing. I did that for a while, and they worked me to death. And so I was looking for a change of scenery. And before that, I worked on 401k plans, doing their TPA, third-party administration work. Every year we did. I had a book of clients that I would reconcile all of their 401k plans, make sure everybody's following their state regulations and federal regulations and everything. So that was fun. But I switched over to do more intensive financial accounting, and that's where I'm excited to be doing here, to be in the realm of public funding. So
we're happy to have you on our team.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh, okay, I'll go for it. Micah, Jennifer Hayes, Hannah Gregory, Stacy May, John Daughtery,
I'm here.
Amy Glasscock,
Here.
Jeremy Hurd,
I'm here.
Matt Montgomery,
Here.
Tiffany Reeves,
Here.
and Dolly Holland.
Here.
Thank you, Robin. And Dolly, I'm glad you made it.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I had to get my off.
We understand. You're always busy. Okay, our action item starts off with approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, and we've got the packet that everybody got. Meetings was included, so if you've read through it, we'll get a motion to approve in a second, unless you guys have something you want to add or comments about.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Dolly. And Mike is waving, so he's going to second that, I guess. And all in favor, wave, because our audio is a little bit off. So that is approved. And then we got our financial report. We got October through December. We got three, and I appreciate the way they were presented. So I printed them out in the order that was presented. So I'll turn that over, and if you will take the reign, and I'll hit my mute button to hopefully fix any audio.
All right. So for the, let me see here. Did you say October?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the first one.
Yeah,
we
in
got.
our packet was the
I didn't pull up
and then
the
we got
October
November
one
and
here.
December.
Let me get that one back. I've got November and December in front of me.
Okay. I think November includes October, right? So that's fine. So
Yeah.
November.
Let me get that. Okay.
And Colin, sorry, just real
Yes.
quick, I did sent you the packet that has the October
You've
in
got
it too. So, however,
Okay. Refreshing. Must still be on its way, but I've got October here. So for the month of October, as you can see on there, we were expended at 43%, versus we were at 49% the same time last year. Our administration expenses were 37%, compared with 32% the prior year in October. And then our adult expenditures were about 80% through October, compared with 64% the prior year. Dislocated worker was at 38% expended, compared with 29% the year before. And then youth was around 41%, compared with 31% the prior year. And also the ad has a requirement to spend at least 20% of youth program funds on work experience, which at through October we were at about 51%, having spent just barely over half of the 527 that was required. So there's October. And then in November, as of the end of November, we were at 43% expended, compared with 35%, as well as in our administration expenses, 45%, as compared with 40% the prior year. And our adult expenditures were around 95%, as compared with 61% the prior year. Dislocated worker was at 45% versus 41% the prior year. And then youth was around 51%, as compared with 33% the prior year. And then on our youth work experience, we were at 65%. And then December, we've got, we were 66% expended, as compared with 51% the prior year. Our administrative expenses were 57% versus 51% the prior year. Our adult expenditures were at 122%, as compared with 88% the prior year. And then dislocated worker program was at 56, versus 40%. And then our youth program was at 64% expended versus 50% the prior year. And as of end of December, our total work experience for youth was at 84%.
At 114%.
Mhm.
Okay. Got a little freeze on Colin there. He froze up.
Oh, you lost me? Was I in December?
Your face actually froze on the screen, on my screen. Yeah, I was referring to December, on the adult expenditures,
Mm-hmm.
114%.
Yes, sir.
So are we dealing with the transfer on funds for that? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, there's a transfer of funds pending from the dislocated worker to cover for that.
Right.
And last I was told, there's been a slowdown on the new enrollments.
That's correct.
No, so it looks like as we
Yeah,
compare year to year that we're about $1.5 million forecasted higher than we were last year. Is that, I mean, I'm sure there's carryover dollars and whatnot, but any concerns that we're going to go over budget?
We won't go over budget, but we have had to slow way down on our enrollments and our expenditures. We have got a huge amount of referrals between the beginning of the year and October, and we put a lot of people into internships and training and that sort of thing. So we really had to take a step back, and we're still enrolling folks and helping people find employment, but not we're just not able to continue to spend as we have been on internships and training.
Mm.
Yeah. So what is our total budget? I mean, because we've got, it looks like our forecast is going to be about 6.5 million, where last year we spent about 5 million. I know you're saying you're slowing down in enrollments. Is that going to match up to where we were last year at about 5 million?
Mm.
Colin, are you able to answer that?
Yeah, Matt, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to check in with Michael on that as our forecast is going. You're totally right. I don't know the answer right this second on that.
I mean, I know we
can take a
control
note
it. If we can control
Yeah.
it by enrollments, it's just as I
Mhm.
look at the charts, right? It's just suggesting we're going to be about $1.5 million higher than last year.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I mean, with the recession or potential recession or whatever is being said, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of more people seeking work. So
Yeah.
So with all, the summarization, I guess, is, we got through June 30 for this fiscal time, right? To try to get that 100% before the next funding stream, correct?
That's right.
yeah, and I just wasn't sure. Like, I mean, it could be that if that chart is reflecting additional grants that we didn't have access to last year, that makes sense. But I just want to make sure that we don't have. I mean, Amy manages this really well. I'm not doubting it. It's just when you look at the chart, you get a little nervous.
Yeah, I mean, we feel the same, Matt. We've really been watching it and trying to cut back on things so that doesn't happen. So yeah, we completely understand your concerns.
Yeah. We just want to, when we have the full board meeting, we want to make sure we don't scare people by something that says more than 100% or have a good explanation to why it shows more than 100%. You know,
Right.
I look at it as make it as simple as possible for the people who are not in finances or not in, you know, all this money movement as I am, not of. Make it simple. Say, yeah, we're looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I think our next finance committee meeting.
114%.
Yeah, our next finance committee meeting's on the 23rd. So I don't know if that's reasonable to say. If we could just have those updated for the next finance committee that's in 3 weeks, that would be wonderful.
Mhm.
I was trying to look ahead to see when the next board meeting is. It's sometime in March, right?
Yeah, it's 1 week after, 6 days after the finance meeting,
It's March
March the
1st.
1st. And
There it is.
Matt, I will not be there, just so you're aware. I will not be able to make the 23rd meeting, finance meeting. So
Okay.
I have full faith in you leading and making sure that looks good.
No, good. I'll just try to make sure Michelle's there, or if anybody else on this call could join that meeting as well, just so we can have quorum.
Yeah, and in time for that meeting, I'll address these questions and we'll get it
Yeah.
caught up for you.
No,
Yep.
great. I appreciate it. I don't have any
Does
other
anyone else
questions.
Okay. Does anyone else have questions? So that's an action item. So we're going to look for a motion to approve October through December financial reports.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports October through December, and with the action to update the charts for the February 23rd Finance Committee meeting.
I like it. And Dolly raised her hand for the second. And Micah, are you good with that? Because basically that's us four. That action item is approved as stated by Matt. Okay. Now we got a RFP for a joint meeting training in September.
So this year it is your all's turn to
To do that. Yeah.
select
On there.
the
You take away with that?
This year it is your all's turn to select the location and the speaker for the annual joint board meeting and training. So in your packet, Robin's done some research. Typically we have the meeting here in Lexington. You know, I mean, it's just kind of a central location, but we looked at some other counties to see maybe if they had potential meeting spots, just to kind of, so we could venture out into our counties a little bit. One of the things that we would like to do is, you know, in the past 2 years, we've had presenters that were free. And so we thought we would go back to the way we did it a couple years prior to that and actually do an RFP to bring in some really dynamic speakers for you guys. And so what we're asking for is so that we can put out an RFP to get some potential speakers beyond what we've gotten in the past couple of years that were free.
Yeah, I mean, my first reaction is on the locations. It's good to kind of rotate it around. I get a little nervous that will Mayor Gorton have the availability to attend if we move it out of Lexington. But other than that, it looks at the costs and it's significantly cheaper. And knowing that we're all cost conscious, let's just promote that as a reason why we would make that choice to be in another location. I think that sounds good. And then on the speaker, yeah, if we've got everybody's time, let's make it a good session and you know, get a good speaker. John, you're on mute, I think.
Yeah, I realized that when I started speaking. Thank you, Matt. With the SETA and the DOL wanting to provide, you know, a special session, some of that same information from a speaker to speak about, you know, the upcoming DOL push, uh, whatever those matters is, that'd be great for, something in that realm. Just kind of
We
speaker
are,
that would do that. I know.
we are hoping to have DOL zoom in and do a short presentation at the joint training, kind of in addition to the main trainer.
But DOL can't charge us anything.
Right,
Um,
so it's
so-
free, but
So I have talked to Winston Tompo, and he's gonna try to make it happen for us to at least get one or two of them to give us kind of a DOL update to our board.
Great. There's a new guy, it's a regional guy here that works under Winston, Lawrence, and I'd have to look up his last name. That used to work at the Labor Academy, now he works for the federal at the DOL. That he might be an option. I don't know if he would, but that's a possibility because he lives in Frankfurt. I think he could speak for DOL and physically be there if that's something. I'll provide his name when I think about it.
Okay, you said Lawrence?
Lawrence, he used to be our apprenticeship person. Moved up. I can find his name real quick. He is tickled to death where he's at. He reached out to me and he's hoping to see me at SETA. Lawrence Windburn. Windburn is his last name.
Okay,
And he now takes care of like 3 different states in the DOL spectrum. I'm not sure what all he does, but.
all right, we'll reach out to him. Thanks, John.
But, we got 2 different things here. One is the RFP to get a speaker, and whether that costs money or not, I think that's a great thing to have with our joint meeting. Some speaker to speak on subject matter that is relevant to us. So we got like 2 action items. One is the speaker, one is the location. You want to expand on that, Amy, about, what the idea for the speaker could possibly be historically, cost-wise? We would bring somebody in that cost money.
So the prices on those speakers are all over the place. They're anywhere from $1,000 to about $5,000. So, and it can be, a lot of them are, the different topics and things that, for instance, that they would present like at a SETA conference or something like that, to really talk about, dive into workforce. I think that's important for you guys as well. And so, there's so many speakers. Once we put the RFP out, who knows what types of proposals that we're going to receive back. But it is going to have to be workforce related. So if I had to guess, there'll be a lot of the same speakers that present at SETA will be submitting proposals for this.
Yeah.
and also just to add, those prices that she mentioned of 1,000 to 5,000, that would include everything like their travel, their airfare, hotels. That
Right.
whatever we pay to them would be all inclusive.
Okay. So is the ask of us to approve
what I'm-
that we can go to RFP, or is the ask of us to say, hey, try to keep it in this range, or what is the ask of us?
The ask is that we can submit an RFP for presenters, but if you would like to put a amount on it as well, that's fine too.
Yeah, I don't want to limit it. If we were to get the best speaker in the world, right, and it was just a few $100s more than our upper limit, I wouldn't want to rule that person out. So I would just say go ahead with the RFP. Of course, I'm sure all your purchasing stuff says that there's no guarantee that we will even award anything, right? Of course, right? But we can get into finding out what's available. I think that's a perfect idea. And then we would vote on it.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd open it up for a month. So it'd be really close in the next board meeting to be
Right.
able to vote on it.
Yeah, we would hopefully have them all back by March and be able to go to the March meeting who you want to present.
Okay. And then for the locations, it sounds like, or it looks like you've already got the pricing for that. Is that something else you'd want to vote on as a board at the same time? Or are you just looking for direction for
No,
us
I
to
think
say
that's
that this is you're on the right path?
I would like to get a vote today so we can go on and book the location on,
Yeah, so we've got, the first item, I think, is, unless Dolly and I have some more comments they want to speak on that, and our alignment to have go with speaker RFP, outreach out there. So Micah, Dolly, you guys have any comments or thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, you were cutting out. I couldn't hear the ask.
Yeah, I had some confusion happen. I said, do you guys have any comments or questions to add to the RFP for a speaker for our joint meeting?
No, I agree. I don't think that a limit should be set. I think we just kind of see who all we can possibly get.
Well, and if we can do the cost savings by moving it around, but I agree, it should be moved around. I like that.
Okay. So the first action item that we are looking for a motion for is approval to proceed with getting RFP out to present interest for a speaker to present at our joint meeting. Looking for a motion for that.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Micah's got it.
I'll second.
And Matt's got it. Doug, you approve? I approve. All right, that's good. Any other? Proceed forward. Okay. And then with the location, we've got three different options here. And obviously the Lexington, I know, is very convenient for the Lexington people and the mayor, but we got three options, and looks like definitely Richmond or Nicholasville has the definitely cheaper route. Is that Richmond location, does it have good parking, and is it easy accessible?
Very easy. It's near the, I don't know if you're familiar with Richmond or not, but it's near the planetarium. It's right off of the Eastern Bypass.
if you've ever been to
Okay.
training at the Perkins building, the criminal justice side of the campus, that's where, it is.
So it's a very large parking lot, and they have a nice facility with a lot of space for us. It's actually their workforce department there.
Is there any permits for parking? You know, on campus, it's usually, we got problems with parking sometimes.
It's just a large parking lot that there's no parking permit needed, but it's a very large lot that's open to us.
It's not right in the heart of campus. So, it's kind of off to the side from campus. So that's why we don't have to fool with any of the parking permits or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that one's the least
What about the-
expensive option. I know you guys drive around the counties more than I do, but is that pretty accessible for all the counties, do you think? It's just down the interstate.
I think so. I mean, it's just right off the interstate. We were trying to keep it to counties that connected to Fayette County. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty accessible.
And the lunch option
And-
estimated there is at McAllister's Deli, just a basic box lunch.
Yeah. So that one, I mean, just the obvious, it's the cheapest and it's easily accessible would be my vote, unless, you know, you feel strongly in another way or a different direction.
I don't.
Micah, Dolly, you guys have any
Yeah, that was gonna be
concerns?
my vote as well.
Yeah, it's a great location. I've been there before, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's definitely me too, so that's four of us, so we need a motion officially.
All right. I'll make a motion then that we go after the Richmond location for the site of the joint meeting.
Sounds good. And a second, Dolly or Micah? Dolly said something, Micah waved something, so that's all of us in. And definitely the Richmond location looks like our choice. And I think that was everybody's choice anyway, right?
Yeah.
For cost and apparently availability.
And maybe that frees up
Okay,
some
our-
money for the speaker too. So good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's $1,500 at least for that savings. Then part E is our Bluegrass WIB members to attend spring SETA action item. What's the action item needed there?
We're required to get a vote to approve SETA for our board members. Dolly and John, I know I always offer it open to the executive committee to attend. I know Dolly and John are both attending. Matt or Micah, do you all have any interest in attending the SETA conference in Memphis?
And I'll get with you also.
When is it?
It's March 12th through the 15th. It's I think the 12th, isn't that right, Robin? It's the Sunday
Yes.
through the 15th.
Okay, I apologize. I have one business trip this quarter, and it is that same day. I will be in Philadelphia. I apologize.
I would like you to maybe look over this kind of again.
I will be traveling as well, so
Okay.
I will be unavailable. Thank you, though.
Okay. Well, maybe next time,
Okay.
the next conference will be in September, around the same dates. So just
Okay.
keep that on your radar.
Okay.
Yeah, that in our last page, it tells us that one, the next one's in
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I never even thought about that either. So,
Alabama
You're cutting out,
in
John.
September. So no action needed. Right? Okay, I'm
We just need,
trying to get closer. I was saying that the can you hear me now?
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So it sounded like you were saying the next one's in Alabama in September. Maybe.
That's
Yeah, John, unfortunately you've frozen a little bit. I don't know if you can hear us.
You are correct, man. Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Well, then
information
I will make a motion then
Keep going.
that Dolly and John attend, if that's what you need, Amy, the SETA conference here in March.
I'll second.
Micah seconds, and then we all will vote yes with the four of us. Awesome.
Thank you, Matt. Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now, yeah.
I guess it's the signal strength coming and going. Okay.
It's the
Are
life
you
we
and
live
Amy on
now,
that?
right? Right. I mean, that's just how it is. It's always, can you hear me now?
Go back 20 years ago, that was common to ask, right?
Oh, right. On our flip phones.
Yes. Okay, the informational items that we have, new members of the Leo Executive Committee, bio included, with Judge Steve Hamilton.
That's right. So, as you all know, we have our governing board of local elected officials that's made up of our 16 county judges and the mayor of Lexington. Within that board, we have the executive committee, which is made up of our co-chief local elected officials, which is Judge Mike Williams and Mayor Gordon. And then we have 5 executive committee members. And so we had a lot of changes this year. We had 9 new county judges come on board this year. So we've had some trainings and things for them, just explaining about WIO and that sort of thing. But we lost one of our judges that was on the executive committee. So we had an election last week for the 16 county judges to nominate a new representative onto that executive committee. It was Judge Hamilton, Judge Steele from Mercer County, and Judge Bottom from Loyal County, all kind of were interested in being on the executive committee. Since there was only one position, they did vote for Judge Steve Hamilton to be that representation on the executive committee. So he's from Nicholas County. I think he's going to be really good on the committee. He's very interested in what we're doing in workforce and really wants to be involved.
I like it that he's from the smallest county we have, right? The little county.
Yeah, I think that's great. And they've got some, me and Stacey were talking to him a couple weeks ago, and he's got some new and upcoming stuff coming up in Nicholas County. So I think that this will be beneficial to him and to us to have him on the committee.
Great. And we got Robin to tell us about the update on grants, right?
Yeah, well, we have a couple that we applied for that we just got news back on, and that's the Lenovo technology grant that we applied for. We did not get that, unfortunately. And then the transfer VR one that we were going to join with Tennessee on, we were not approved to move forward with that one. We are currently working on the opioid abatement grant that I recently sent the grants task force information on. That is 2 programs kind of within that, but it's the money that the state got from the opioid settlement. So our plan with that is that we want to do the APDS tablets that going into some of our county jails, and we're focusing on some of our smaller ones in the surrounding counties, and not Fayette County at this time, but we want to get into some of those smaller counties with those tablets that are really helpful to the inmates. And then there's something called a YES program that's currently active in Franklin County, and we want to work on that and also some of our rural counties. And it's a program where we are the organization would give, it's like a debit card to youth in the region, and they can use the funds on that debit card to pay for after school activities, which keeps them engaged in those things and away from drug abuse or things. And it's especially targeted to families where that child might be at risk based on history, family situation, that type of thing. And that's a really exciting program with a lot of potential. And then we have one that we may, a potential grant that we haven't started yet, but we want to do one to help pay for a youth summit that we talked about doing kind of toward the end of the year. But that's still just in the beginning stages for that grant. So those are all of my grants. Any questions about them?
Well, the youth summit sounds interesting. That's possible.
Yeah, I'll go
Can be
over that
like a
more.
camp.
It's not really for youth, it's for the people that work with youth. But I'll go over all that again at the end where we talk about current initiatives and things.
Okay. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you for your work, Robin.
You're welcome.
Okay. Strategic plan update. I was looking at our picture format. I like that.
So our strategic plan, goes over everything that we're working towards and the activities and initiatives that we're doing to meet those strategic plan goals. Stacey may want to chime in here too. So I'm not going to read it to you. I do want to point out though, one of the things that we've worked on and we're struggling with, but still making that effort. I know Stacey's working with the construction consortium and doing a really good job, and it's very successful. Our other consortiums, we're not having as much success of bringing our employers in. So right now, we're really trying to dig in and figure out how we can get our employers to want to participate, and really identify those purposes of those consortiums, whether we need to tag on to other consortiums like we have with the IT one, because there's the IT consortium that Commerce Lex has already started. So we're kind of piggybacking off them and joining in theirs. But the rest of the consortiums, we really want to figure out that purpose and bringing those employers involved. So it's not just another meeting for them to attend going forward. So that's one area that we're really focusing on right now. Stacey, do you have anything that you want to add to the strategic plan?
The only other thing I'd like to add is that we're reaching the midpoint of the 5 years. So I am going to try to secure funding for EKU, since they originally developed the plan, to come back and help us kind of update, which is what, as with a strategic plan you should do. You come in, kind of look at, where our vision was in the beginning and what is the reality of it now, halfway through, and kind of readjust those points, just like with the consortium, like Amy mentioned. So hopefully in the next couple of months, we can get something like that put together, so we can pull the strategic planning task force back together and work with Sarah and I'm sorry, the other name slipping my mind, with EKU to kind of get that updated.
So this looks really good. I mean, I think it's really good work, and it's nicely laid out. Would it be good for the full board to sort of put like a red, yellow, green in terms of progress against these, or something else? Just sort of say, where you're, kind of, we should celebrate all the good work, or where you're like in this situation outside of construction, you're having some challenges. I'm not sure as a board what we can do for you in that case, but it would be good to see where we're successful, and we can kind of brag about that as we talk to other boards, or looking at the DOL or other areas.
I think that's a good idea. We could definitely do that, and then maybe we can come also with some ideas on how you all can support us as we work towards our strategic plan at the full board meeting.
Sure.
Sounds good. So that'll be a conversation for our March 1 full board meeting to add to our agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm sure in some areas you're exceeding the plan, and Stacey, your point, if EKU comes back in and makes some course corrections or adjustments, I mean, let's definitely not lose track of all the good work that you've already accomplished as a team.
That's go ahead.
Do you want me to just keep on going down the informational item?
Sounds good.
Okay. The next thing is, I'd like to start having some guest speakers at our board meetings. I think that would be beneficial for you guys as board members to know about some of our partners that we work with, and initiatives and that sort of thing across the Bluegrass. So if you all have anybody in mind for March or June that you're specifically interested in hearing from, let us know. We'll be looking for ideas as well for individuals to come in. We were going to have Tim Waterman, who used to be on our board. He was going to come and present on the apprenticeship program that the state's working on, but he's not available on March the 1st, so he may come at a later date, and he's going to let me know at a later date that he may be available. But if there's anybody specifically that you all would like to come in, any of our partners, just let us know, let Robin know, and we'll reach out to him to get them scheduled for one of our board meetings.
Yeah, for this first one, it might be nice to meet our new Leo. I mean, if just as a quick idea, right?
Yeah.
Let him meet us.
Great idea. We'll invite him.
Means we have to be on better behavior, I guess, but be good.
All right, so if you have any others, just let us know.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I think
then-
anytime you've got some of the people that we serve, like I look at some of the different, like Lighthouse Center or Rachel's House, or I'm just throwing out those names. I mean, if any of them can kind of talk about the impact of what we're doing, somebody from the veterans group, something like that, I think is always good. If you've got a good relationship with somebody there.
Okay.
My personal take is sometimes as a board member, it's hard to connect the good we're doing with all the numbers and the regulations that are being presented. So it's nice to feel a little better about that we are helping and connect it to a person. So that I think the sort of the success stories and somebody as a customer being able to talk about how much it helps them and how they ideally move forward or they have some success story they can share, that would be good.
That's a great idea. We can definitely do that. Okay. All right, I think Jennifer's on the agenda next.
Amy, give me just 1 second to plug in this computer. It's fixing to die and I didn't realize it.
Okay.
That's always funny when somebody's sharing their screen and you see their computer go to like 4% and you're like,
Okay.
my first question is, are you near a plug?
I got it. Am I loud and clear?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I'll begin with saying that I love the idea of bringing in success stories and partners, and that's something that we can very easily do. The relationships that we have in the community are solid and strong. And so, and Stacy does a really good job too with video and those success stories. And sometimes in meetings, she'll show those. But I think if we could have a person to join and actually talk about their story or the relationship, because we all get caught up in numbers, right? And numbers show how we do impact. But when we see a person actually saying, this person changed my life, then it really makes us want to come back to work tomorrow, right? So I love that idea, and I can definitely assist with making all of that happen, working with Amy and her team. So in your packet, you have November and December reports for the direct service provider, and then also for the one-stop operator. So I'll go over Todd's as well. And so the numbers, the part that we all review, right? So at the end of December, we had enrolled 269 enrollments. And the previous year, so the end of December of 21, we had enrolled 250. So we were a little bit ahead of enrollments. And so just to backtrack just a little bit, at the end of October, we were about 60 something enrollments ahead of the previous year. And so that's when all of our eyes started saying, we're far ahead, like we're way ahead of the game. We need to start backing down, slowing down just a little bit. Slowing down on enrollments doesn't mean we slow down helping job seekers. And that's the part that I want everybody to understand, is that we still help job seekers every single day. And we have the connections to connect them to employment opportunities without spending money on them. So slowing down on money doesn't mean we're slowing down on the work. In the December packet, below the enrollment, you see a little box that says core. And so we just captured some core individuals. That's people that we're helping on a daily basis that never will hit the enrollment numbers, and we'll never spend $1 on those folks. It's just people that are walking in that we're helping connect. So I'll start sharing some of those numbers with you all as well. And to kind of show you all how we've slowed down a little bit, at the end of October, we had 112 paid internships on our payroll. That was at the end of October. And at the end of December, we had 66. So we cut those paid internships in half. And that is by far our biggest spender. So the WEXs, the paid internships, is the biggest way that we spend money. And so we're going to have to substantially keep that number low for the rest of the program year through June. But that doesn't mean that we don't help job seekers find employment options. And then, as always, our outreach, we have staff out and about and connecting to community partners every month. So adult education centers, the libraries, we have office hours in every month. We have staff today at the Charles Young Center, Black and Williams, downtown Lexington, at one of those community centers. We have several staff in Harrison County today at a reentry event. But in the month of October, some of the events that we had was we were on site at Garrett County High School for a hiring event, career fair. We were on site at Thornhill, that's the adult ed in Frankfurt, for an event. Versailles, we had an expungement. We partnered with an expungement clinic in Versailles. We were at Estill County for the high school event, Harrison County for a high school career day. We're taking those VR headsets that Amy spoke about out into those high schools and letting the students try on virtual reality for career exploration. Jeremy has done a fantastic job working with the team, going out to all of those locations to assist so that, you know, our staff and the students don't tear those headsets up. We had an ADECO hiring event, and I just pulled up a job fair spreadsheet that we keep ongoing. And like through the month of May right now, we've got like 19 events. That's job fair and just pop-up events scheduled. And of course that number will increase, but right now through May, we've got 19 events. So this is job fair hopping season. And this is like high school hopping season. The staff are out and about with job fairs in high school. So does that mean that our enrollment numbers may not be as much as they were last year? Well, at the end of December, we were still ahead of last year. And at the end of January, which you all don't have those numbers, we're still ahead of what we were last year. So we've still enrolled more people today than what we did this time last year. So we're still serving. And so whenever we talk about numbers, I just always think that people sometimes can get scared and say, oh no, like our money's a little lower. How are we going to continue to serve? But we will always continue to serve. And our eyes are on that funding every day. So, and then we still have all of our social media platforms. Unfortunately, Miss Kayla DeLong, who was our outreach coordinator, is no longer with us. She moved on to a different employer. So she was the one that you would see all the TikToks from and a lot of the social media, but Stacy and our team are still working closely with social media. So make sure you like and follow us, and lots of events are going to come your way on through those platforms. We still offer employability workshops 2 days a week. So every Tuesday and Wednesday, we offer, you know, the resume building, the soft skills, the interview prep, 2 days a week, every week, virtual for anybody to join. And then if we have a partner that wants us to come on site, obviously we go on site. We offer LinkedIn Learning to all of our job seekers and partners and anybody that we work with in the community. LinkedIn Learning is a platform with 16,000 free trainings. So we push that out in the community. So we have a lot of services that we can offer out. And then it, like was mentioned, we put a success story typically at the end of every report. And I was looking through, and at the end of November's report, the lady that came into one of the workshops in Lexington, so we have a veterans workshop in person at Lexington once a month, and the lady that came in, a veteran to that workshop, the Kentucky Career Center actually hired her to be a veterans rep. So we didn't hire her. She doesn't work with us, but she's a partner within us. And so I just thought that was cool that a veteran walked in for a workshop with us and then was hired on with the KCC. So that's a pretty cool success story. We never enrolled her. We never spent money on her. We just connected her to an employment option. So that's pretty much a summary of the 2 reports for me, but we're in every county every month, and you know, some counties we hit harder than others. And one recommendation that Amy gave me a couple weeks ago was that instead of breaking my report down like this, just to break it down by county only, so that literally you all can see everything we're doing in every county. And so like we're in over 20 recovery centers. So like the Rachel's House, the Revive Life House. So we're in all of those, but you all don't necessarily know what county those are in, right? So I'm going to start breaking everything down by county. And if there's any other recommendations, I'd be happy to take those as well. Amy, do you want me to go on to Todd's, or do you want me to?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Unless anybody has some questions about Jennifer's report.
No, well, first, thank you. I mean, for all the work that you're doing. I think that's really good. On the success stories, I mean, I think that was great. And then on the county breakdown, I think we had done that originally just to kind of prove to the Leos that we were covering the entire area. This wasn't all focused just on Lexington, Fayette, or something like that. So I really appreciate that, and I'm sure that information gets up to the Leos as to what's being done. Just
It
you know,
does.
so yeah, so I mean, I think that's really really good information. So no, thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I think sometimes maybe we don't capture maybe everything in the monthly report. And so like you all don't know, like we have 3 business service consultants that are out in the ground, and their job is to find the employers and meet the needs of the employers. And so that's like, there's a small section in this report that covers business service, and it'll say like new jobs or postings or job fairs, but that doesn't really give you all a good report on where are they going, what businesses are they serving. And so we're really going to try to beef up the report just to show like where are they stopping at, who are they talking to, how are they serving, because the business service job, for example, like they can do more than just do paid internships. So they can, post jobs, do hiring events, they can screen applicants. If an employer were to tell us that they wanted someone to test a certain level in math or something like that, we could screen all of their applicants here at the KCC. So there's just a lot of options that we can still do. And I want to do a better job at reporting that to you all, and so that Amy can report it to the Leos and all of that. So anyway, we'll move on to Todd's, and Todd is in Harrison County today at the reentry event with some other staff. But in some, Todd's report captures the walk-ins and the traffic for the month. And so most of those numbers are not people that are walking through a KCC. Most of those numbers are people that are calling, requesting services. They've heard about the program. They want to know more. So for November, it was 764 people that we served. And then for December, that was 541. Those are not people we enrolled. Those are people that may or may not have ever even had an appointment, but those are people that at least called in requesting information about the program. And then because of those referral numbers, and those referral numbers have just grown since COVID. I mean, our numbers have never decreased. It was a crazy thing, but I pulled some numbers for Amy recently, and I pulled the last 4 years of enrollments. And so if you look back for 4 years, 4 program years, our enrollments have increased every single year substantially. So we've never decreased. I mean, so since for 4 years back, the numbers have grown. So Todd worked with Stacy, and they recruited.
Which, by the way, is amazing considering the unemployment rates have gone down and down and down. So again, good job.
Yeah, it's and so and another thing is that we have staff who like they want, and me included, I'm going to take a hit for this, but we tried to enroll every single person that was at our desk, and it was like we wanted to serve everybody and we wanted to enroll everybody. And our QA person would tell me, like, Jennifer, you can't serve them all, like you can't enroll them all, like you just like funding wise you can't do it. So that's another reason, like, we have to slow down. We're not going to have, the funding to keep continuing at the rate we were continuing. And that just makes sense. And I was on a call recently with someone that was retired from WIOA in Eastern Kentucky. And she said, oh, I get it. Like, funding comes and goes. Like, sometimes you have funding, sometimes you don't. So like, people that are in this field understand that sometimes you have more funding than others, but you just continue to serve. So anyway, with Todd's stuff, he created along with Stacy an electronic referral form just so that we can track all of these referrals. So that's one thing on his report. So anybody that's interested in our services, our community partners, our recovery centers, the kiosks that are out into the centers that Todd worked with Jeremy getting out. Anybody that wants our services comes through that referral process. We can track data really easily through it. That's one thing on his report. And then another thing was they did a rapid response for Helpware. It was a call center in December. And then a lot of the stuff on Todd's report is employer meetings. So with Hannah Phillips is our business service supervisor, and she was out on maternity leave from October through January. And so Todd stepped into that business service role and really helped out with the business service team. So a lot of these meetings and things on his reports are just him taking on extra responsibility. So he did a lot of employer contacts and meetings. And then he also does a weekly resource minute with Stacy. And so in his report, he highlighted the VR trainings that we're working with Jeremy on. And then he also highlighted Bridges Out of Poverty with Tiffany. So Tiff has been trained to facilitate and teach Bridges Out of Poverty, which is a wonderful training. I think you all may went through it at maybe the annual meeting or something, but Tiff can now do that. And that was one of the resource minutes. So I feel like I'm rambling now, but do you all have any questions about mine or Todd's report?
My only question.
Todd's not here to. Okay.
Yeah, my only question about was going to be on the Nicholas County, where we've got just one sort of person there that just given our new Leo's location, just, you know, if you had to make a choice, if there could be maybe a little bit more focus there. I don't know if that's legal or approved. I guess I want to make sure that we're not showing too much favoritism, but just I know it's a tiny county, but it'd be great if we could show some higher numbers in that area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I look at those numbers each month, and I always talk to Jennifer when I see those low numbers in those counties. You know, they're in those counties, they just may not necessarily be enrolling folks in those counties. When Stacey and I talked to Judge Hamilton, they do have some really big things coming up over the next year. So I really see us especially expanding in that area as well. One thing that I am doing on top of providing these reports that Jennifer provides, I give them to, you know, the Leos as well, but I'm in the process of creating a events list that I'll submit to you all each at the beginning of every month, so that you know what events are going to be taking place in each of those counties. You know, we had a virtual reality event last week in Mercer County, and the new judge came to the event. So we want more judges and you guys as well, you know, if you're able to attend these events and be a part of it. So I'll be, I'm actually working on that today. It's February 1st, I know, but I'm just now getting to it. So I'm going to try to get it out by the end of this week with all the events that are coming up, so you are aware of everything that's going on in each of our counties, and you can participate as well.
Sounds great. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
It's been coming and going as far as my audio, being able to speak. Looking forward to that list of where you're going. That virtual, like I looked on Facebook and saw that the virtual VR training that was happening. That was great. More and more that can happen will be definitely, I think it's going to be a real push to get these younger people involved with coming and actually going to work after. So that's going to be great. Okay. So if you guys can hear, it looks like our last item is, no, our last page is our schedule of meetings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the meeting dates for the year is in your packet. And then, just real quick, I know we're kind of going over an hour now, but I'll just make it real quick about current, initiatives. Like Jennifer said, Tiffany is now a certified, trainer for the Bridges Out of Poverty training. Her first official training is gonna be this Monday. And she's actually training our career center staff in Bridges Out of Poverty. But if your organization, and it can be business, nonprofit, whoever, wants this training, and I know Tiff, she's an excellent presenter, so I know she's gonna do an amazing job. But, you know, for example, Dolly, if you wanted her to come and train some of the staff there at the hospital, she could definitely come in and do that kind of thing. Maybe some of the folks that are working more with, you know, individuals that are in poverty and those kind of things. So, she can go anywhere in the state to do this training. And I know a lot of the WIB directors are interested in her coming to their local areas and doing the training as well. We are in the process, you know, with the funding and everything, we really are taking a hard look at our program. And so over the next several months, we're going to really be digging in and trying to maybe revamp the program a little bit and really start focusing more on our sectors and doing different cohorts within each of those sectors for different training modules and things like that. And really try to identify the skills that our employers need to hire these folks. We've talked a lot about the virtual reality headsets. Jeremy, sitting here next to me, he's got a list a mile long of all the different places that they're going to be going over the next month. So I'm really excited about that. It's really taken off. So, you know, hopefully we'll be able to apply for another grant to get even more headsets. I was disappointed we didn't get the one with the partnership with Tennessee, but for whatever reason, the reviewers of our application didn't feel that they wanted us to continue with it. We are doing a lot in Madison County with the Bluegrass Chemical Agency plant there that's going to be laying off starting in September. They're going to have about 1,800 folks that are going to be laid off total. September is going to be their first 100, and then they'll have every 3 to 6 months after that. So we've been there. Stacey's created a website for them. She's created some flyers for them. Every Friday, the Career Center staff are keeping their schedules open at the Richmond Career Center to meet with folks as they want to come in, because they usually have Fridays off because of their shift schedules. So we're really working to try to help those folks as they prepare to either change positions or move or whatever they decide to do. We're hoping that a lot of them plan to stay at least in Kentucky. Blue Oval, of course, you all know, is really expanding there in the Elizabethtown area, and they are very interested in a lot of these folks, and they do have good pay as well. And they're interested in everything from, you know, entry-level positions to, you know, engineers, you know, to the scientists, all the folks that they have there. So we're doing a lot with them. And then we talked earlier about the youth summit in the fall, probably in November, and we haven't set a date yet. We've just been brainstorming so far. We do want to have a youth summit, and it's going to be specifically for our individuals and our partners that work with the youth. We really want to bring in some really good speakers that can really motivate the individuals. We know how tough it can be working with youth, so we want to really offer something. And this is going to be, we want it to be a very low cost conference. So we want to get a lot of sponsors so that the attendees don't have to spend a lot. And then we'll have some breakout sessions that offer everything from CPR training to how to look up and utilize ONET to identify couriers and things like that that can be beneficial to some of the youth that they're working with that we may not, that may not cross our doorstep at the Career Center, but our partners are working with. So that's to come in the future, and we hope that you guys can be a part of that Youth Summit as well. And we may not call it Youth Summit because it's kind of confusing. A lot of people think it's going to be tailored just to the youth. And down the road, that may be something that we look at as doing the Youth Summit just for youth, but starting off, it's going to be for the folks that work with the youth. And that's all I have for our updates and initiatives right now.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. Keep us informed on all that. Sounds like a great some of us might chime in, sound like I might be able to do some of that, partnering up and maybe pieces of it.
Absolutely.
So everybody's good with the informational items that we've got, I assume. And we got a list of our upcoming meetings, which is great, and I appreciate that because I'm gonna make sure it's on my board. And then for tomorrow, Micah, Hannah, I'll be at the Estill County at 7 a.m. a little bit after, all the way through the school day. So hope to see you guys.
We'll plan to come out.
Any other, my stuff will be outside, I'll be inside presenting, and then we walk through, because we do like 45 or whatever the time frame is, inside meeting conversation, and we go outside and play stuff outside. The show trailer and bus is something for you to see. Just let Hannah or myself know you're there. We'll escort you in so you're not out in
Sounds
the
good,
cold.
thank you.
Amy, you got anything to add, or Matt, you got anything to add? Mike is good, I think.
Just welcome, Colin. We beat you up a little bit in the beginning, but good work, and I appreciate you being on board. So please take it as constructive, not we're trying to chase you away. But thanks for all you do.
Absolutely, Matt. Any constructive criticism is actually very much appreciated on my part.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, great job for your first time. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, with that, I guess we'll look for a motion to adjourn this meeting and look forward to seeing everybody in the near future.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Thank you,
second
Matt.
that. And my
right.
apologies,
Thank
everyone,
everybody.
for being late.
Oh, good.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you
you,
all.
everybody.
Bye.
See you later.
Thank you.